Hello, this is KUGAN CASSIUS for Eiffel TV in association with Macklin's Gym Marbella. Do you know what? It's a long time since I've come in front of the camera.
Are you nervous?
A little bit. More used to being off it. It's easier.
It's probably better.
Alright. Just talk about your Sky Sports interview just now.
Well,
You look like
yeah.
you only slept for 9 days.
Yeah, I feel quite fresh. Do I look terrible?
You look like you've had a rough couple of days.
I haven't really. I haven't had much sleep, but I haven't really. I've stopped drinking, like just after the show. Well, I drove to the show, and then last night we all went out for dinner, Josh, and drove as well. I haven't really got time for the hangovers. You went through a stage of like, you never drank, did you?
No.
And then you just started smashing like literally bottles of vodka in brown paper bags and just getting smashed at shows, and then.
At shows?
Yeah, but I just saw you like parallel it a few times.
I never used to drink at shows.
But have you stopped all that?
No, occasionally I just... No,
But you were like one extreme to the other, weren't you?
Yeah. What was you up to the weekend? Anything?
No, pretty low key really. One of our boys won a World Heavyweight Championship, but other than that, no, not much really.
The AJ fella.
Yeah, the AJ.
Yeah, caught a little bit of a word with you afterwards, but obviously to really go over the show. And I'm grateful for your time today. I know you
Thanks, mate. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. First of all, speaking to Joshua after the fight and listening to him in the press conference, it didn't feel like, I don't know, it didn't feel like you were talking to like a heavyweight world champion. It looked like the same sort of interview and responses he gives after every fight. So is that about it not sinking in for Joshua yet, or is it just, that's just him?
I think it's just his expectations and where he wants to get to. And I don't want to sound cheesy, but we've all got the same kind of mentality, which is, that was incredible, that's going to go down in history, but it's back to work, nothing's changed, keep grinding, keep doing what you're doing. And if you have that mentality, I think you've got a much better chance of achieving success and greatness, because so many people would change in his position. And I've seen fighters before win world titles, and it's like, I've done it, you know? But at no point has he ever, I've done it, I've become world heavyweight. No, because he wants to beat everybody and unify all the belts. And that's his mentality. So, don't get me wrong, I'm sure he's buzzing. The fact that he's won the world heavyweight title, but at the same time, he knows it's only beginning. The media requests from here, states, everything have just been, like, I've never seen anything like it. He's got to deal with those this week, and then I'd like him to have a week off next week, and then it's going to be straight back into camp. But it's business-like, you know, it's not, you know, I got in the ring after, I'm like, yes, AJ's like, great, nice, yeah. You know, okay, we'll get this done, maybe go back to hotel and do the media, and then we'll get back to it, yeah. So, all right, mate. But that's great, and that shows you the expectations that he sets himself.
There was a question mark over this fight, probably due to the fact that Charles Martin was a little bit of an unknown quantity, whether it's sort of the level of opposition he'd faced, or, you know, people were kind of thinking, is Charles Martin going to come out as this, do you know what I mean, prove to be what his team believed he is. It didn't end up that way, and the fight went pretty similar to 80% of Joshua's fights.
Yeah, I mean, you can't have it both ways. You can't build Charles Martin up and tell us how good he is, and then when AJ puts in a performance like that and destroys him, suddenly turn around and go, yeah, but he weren't great, was he? And the amount of people that talked him up to win this fight, credible people who know him, people who sparred with him, you know, fighters, that's what really got us concerned. When we had the chance to fight Charles Martin, I felt like, and well, I've known him for a long time because he's been coming up, I knew he was a good fighter. I just hoped that he wasn't elite fighter. But when you've got people like David Haye, like BJ Flores, like Tyson Fury, like Henry Tillman, like Heyman and his team saying this kid's the real deal. We've seen it in camp, sparring partner, you know. I was worried, but I never underestimated AJ, but I wasn't maybe I underestimated how good he would be on the occasion, on the night, under that kind of pressure. Because watch it back, it was a phenomenal performance, phenomenal. And everything that happened, the Dillian Whyte fight was such a blessing in so many different ways, in and out of the ring, because inside the ring, he learnt so much, and outside the ring, people saw him and said, he's beatable, I can beat him. And that's probably, well, other than the money, the main reason why Charles Martin said, I will fight Anthony Joshua. One, because it's a great deal, and two, I just saw him fight, I can beat him. But unfortunately for Charles Martin, what turned up was the real Anthony Joshua, the business-like Anthony Joshua, and just an exceptional young fighter.
If we're comparing two fights between Whyte and Martin, in Joshua's head, would you say that he felt more pressure for the Whyte fight or for this fight? Not pressure that
he didn't have a clear head in the Whyte fight. Like, he just wanted to ruin him, and he fought like that. I mean, he was awful at times, even in from the first round. Forget when he got hurt at the end of the second round, even early. Look at the footwork compared to the Charles Martin fight. He was all over the place. And that was because he don't like Dylan, and that was because Dylan done a brilliant job in the build-up to rattle him and to get him in that frame of mind. Take nothing away from Dylan's performance, by the way. But it was just different. You know, he said that when he was in the ring on Saturday night, before the fight, he was thinking to himself, what was I doing on December 12th in here? I was like, it's like a man possessed. Whereas on Saturday, there was no, I can't stand this man, I want to ruin him. It was just that, I've just got to beat that guy. That's all I've got to do. And he was so calm in the ring. I mean, he looked $1 million, didn't he? You know, sort of come out in a white robe and said, mate, he's got it all.
That was his attitude during the whole week, though, to be honest.
To beat Charles Martin. Yeah, and probably we missed out on a bit of hype because of that, because it wasn't, I could become world heavyweight champion, I can't believe I'm fighting for the world title. It was, forget it's for the world title, just got to beat Charles Martin. Yeah. But that was the mindset that produced the performance, and that was how he felt. You know, yeah, the belt comes with it, but I've just got to beat who's in front of me. Obviously,
Charles Martin was put into that situation where he had to fight Glasgow. Glasgow's knee went, regardless of whatever, he won the title that way. But what does it say about Charles Martin? I mean, just to sort of finish off on Charles Martin, as a fighter, as an opponent, I asked Joshua, what did you think of him? But after 2 rounds, you couldn't really assess what.
But Josh has got a different mentality. He's looking to take people out early. Like the first round, he was exceptional. I think at the end of the first round, fighters get in clinches with AJ, and they feel the strength and the power. And I think he got hit with about 20 seconds to go, and also with a body shot as well. And I think he went back to the store and thought, man, this is horrible. And the second round was just lethal. The slip right hand, speed of it. I mean, he said he didn't even see it. And you wouldn't see it. No one's got hand speed in the division like Anthony Joshua. So I won't be as harsh on Charles Martin as some people. Like, he's a good fighter. But Anthony Joshua is just a special talent. And when he hits you, you get knocked out. Doesn't matter who you are. So Charles Martin will be back, and he'll be in some big fights, and he'll win big fights. But he can't compete at Anthony Joshua's level. And I believe that when he's on it like he was on Saturday, not many people can.
Are you one of these people that are sort of going with there are multiple champions in every weight due to the governing bodies, but do you look at each division and see one pinnacle figure? And if we're talking about the heavyweight division, do you see Tyson Fury still as the main heavyweight champion? Not about potential and what could happen in the future.
I think currently he's got the best win out of anybody in the division, and certainly out of any champion. So you have to, say that he's probably number one heavyweight in the world. If you're looking at it from ability point of view, I don't believe he's number one in the world. But he's the man you have to beat. He's got the most belts. Like I said, he has the win over Klitschko. And listen, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe people will just laugh at me, but I don't think it's a difficult fight for Anthony Joshua against Tyson Fury. I think he's completely all wrong for Tyson Fury. But I did think Klitschko would beat Tyson Fury. But we don't know whether that was just an incredible performance, and whatever happens, it was a great performance, or Klitschko's just completely shot and finished. Because he looked awful in that fight. He was gun shy, didn't want to throw the right hand, he looked like he had no power. But maybe it was just Tyson was technically brilliant. Who knows? But he's not going to get it that way against AJ. He's not a big puncher, Tyson Fury. Whether you like it or not, he's not. He can bang, everyone can bang, but he's not a puncher in the heavyweight division. So how's he going to beat AJ? Outboxing for 12 rounds.
But like you said, no one really gives Tyson Fury a prayer. In
I thought he had a chance, but I didn't think he'd win. I thought he'd get stopped. But we don't know whether Klitschko's just finished or Fury was just brilliant. I think I'll go with Fury was... I know the performance. I think the performance was exceptional. I just think Joshua's going to hit him hard and fast. And it's not a pop at Tyson Fury. If Joshua hits you on the chin, he's knocking you out. And he's not going to be afraid to step in against Fury and mix it up on the inside. Like, if Fury thinks that he's going to beat AJ by outboxing him for 12 rounds, it ain't happening. If Fury thinks he's going to knock AJ out, then fair enough. And listen, if he chins him out of nowhere, maybe he can. But I can't see it. Styles make fights, and I think the Hay fight is a much tougher fight for AJ.
I was going to ask you that. Who just says the harder fight?
I think Hay is a tougher fight for AJ than Fury. I'm not saying one's better than the other. I'm just saying Styles make fights, and Hay, you know, he's small, he's got good movement, he's fast, they can punch. That's a good fight for AJ. Tough fight. Same scenario. If Joshua hits Hay on the chin, he cleans him out. And listen, if Hay hits Joshua on the chin, maybe he'll clean him out too. But he can punch. He's a puncher, and he's got speed, and he's got good movement. So again, I don't want to downplay Fury because he's the man in the heavyweight division at the moment. So, but I just fancy that fight, and we all fancy that fight so much. But the good news is, Tyson and Peter both fancy the fight as well against AJ. So hopefully, when we all handle business in the summer, that can get made.
Would Anthony Joshua beat Klitschko today?
Yes.
Do you believe he'd knock Klitschko out?
Yes, I do. I think he'd stop. And I also believe, by the way, that Fury could have stopped Klitschko. After 7 or 8 rounds, if he would have put his foot on the gas, I think he was there for the taking. And he might stop him in when they fight in Manchester. But yeah, I think...
What do you believe is the more difficult fight to make between Joshua and Fury and Joshua and Hay?
The more difficult one, probably Joshua against Hay.
Yeah, why?
Because Hay would have... I think with Fury, and listen, maybe I'm completely off the wavelength, because of the size of AJ, but because of the achievements of Fury, that's a 50-50 unification fight. Yeah. Like, it's not been discussed, but in my head, I'm saying it out loud, it's just what I presume. Maybe they come back and say, no, we've got 2 belts, it's 70-30, in which case it ain't happening. But with Hay, he's a voluntary challenger. It's a huge fight, but he's still a voluntary challenger. So until he gets up to win a world title or becomes a mandatory, or I don't know, but I think the 2 fights are inevitable, which is great for British boxing, but Fury is definitely our number 1 target.
Is that a realistic possibility for this year?
Yes, I think it is. We're going to box in at end of June or early July, then we're going to box probably in November. Could that be against Fury? Yes, it could.
Numbers wise, where would you look to put that?
It could only be at the Millennium Stadium, really. I mean, when you're in an arena like the O2, the average ticket price is much higher. Because obviously if you're in a vast stadium, if you're up there, you might be in a 30 or 40 quid seat, there's more of them. So the revenues are much higher for a stadium, but the costs are much higher also. You still do much better to go outdoors, but take the aggravation away, and that's why Floyd, I think, just couldn't be bothered to ever go, you know, like Pacquiao against Mayweather, could have done 200,000. I mean, what does that Dallas stadium hold? 150, yeah, wherever it is. It's a massive one, isn't it?
The Cowboys Stadium.
Yeah, whatever, but it's like 160, 170,000. But they'd rather just put the prices up and do it at the MGM. So, yeah, it's exciting, isn't it? I mean, I think you've got 3 guys there that would genuinely fight. I mean, I don't think Fury will fight Hay because I don't think he can stand it, but as far as AJ is concerned, he would fight Fury. Fury would fight AJ. AJ would fight Hay, and Hay would fight AJ. So you've got the willingness, and all the money's in the UK. So you can add Wilder to that mix as well to come over and fight. And yeah.
Obviously, we now know it's confirmed that Fury Klitschko rematch is on BoxNation.
Mm-hmm.
We spoke a little bit about it the other day,
Mm-hmm.
but the main reason, I see Tyson had a little dig on his Twitter about BoxNation stepping up and Sky Sports not having the bollocks, according to his tweet.
They turned it down. Sky Sports had an opportunity, a first option on it, and originally the fight was going to be on May the 7th, then it was going to be on June the 4th. Both of those were okay with Sky. Then something happened, and then they come back to Sky and said it's on July the 9th. And Sky said, we can't go on July the 9th, can't give you that commitment, until Saturday night was out of the way. That was about 3 weeks ago, and then in the meantime they've either got the hump or didn't want to wait, and have gone with another broadcaster. As it happens, they wouldn't have got on Sky anyway because AJ is obviously the priority. So I think I spoke to Bernd Bonte on Saturday night on the phone, and deal's done, and no problem with it. I think AJ has long been a long priority for Sky, and obviously now he's world champion. It's he's going to obviously take priority.
So, after the press conference, obviously, initial questions about when Joshua's first defence will be, blah, blah. Now, you did mention the first date that you mentioned was July 9th. Where does that, obviously, it's only 2 days ago that was, where does that currently stand? Because obviously the situation...
So, before the fight, July the 9th, we knew that Klitschko Fury may go on July the 9th, wasn't confirmed, but we were already in talks with Wembley to go July the 9th, and that was the date. When you look at the sporting calendar, there's European Championships for virtually the whole of June and July, or that month, and July the 9th is one where there's none. So that was an obvious day, that's why they're going on that day. So when they announced it on Friday or Saturday, clearly to make sure we didn't announce that we'd be going on July the 9th. Do we go on the same night? Doesn't really make sense, but if we go to the National Stadium, no, that don't work for you, but maybe boxing fans.
It's not that work for us. I just think I was just what I said to you the other day. I think a lot of people out there would agree that to have two heavyweight fights of that magnitude, Joshua in his first defence of his world title, Klitschko Fury, the whole week split between the two is ridiculous.
Yeah, maybe, but obviously if that's the only date we can do, it's the only day we can do. We'll roll with it, but. We're looking at other dates. June the 25th is an option, a little bit early, to be honest.
Will it definitely be at Wembley?
No, that's only July 9th.
Right.
That was the only spot, July 9th. So June the 25th is an option. July the 2nd, July the 16th, although I don't really want to go the week after because you lose a lot of the attention. But I don't know. I mean, the main thing now is, let's look at an opponent. The interest from AJ has been ridiculous. Now we're huge in the US, so we're going to be tying up a big US broadcast deal.
Showtime?
They get first bite of the cherry. They were the ones that committed to us. HBO are interested as well. And then get it announced, build the card. Groves Murray was the fight that was going to be on June 25th. So it's more than likely that fight will be incorporated in the show now, which would be great. It's a great fight. And build away and then get it rolling again.
With regards to Wembley, do you not think that Joshua versus an opponent, that opponent needs to have some sort of status or credibility to fill somewhere like Wembley? Or do you just believe Joshua carries it on his own?
No, it's got to be a proper fight. But no one's ever going to be over the moon with every selection for a voluntary defence. So some people go, that's a good fight, other people go, I don't like that fight. But I can only tell you that I'm a numbers pervert, right? And one thing I'm pretty good at and you know, again, I don't, you know, I don't often big myself up. Is I know how to gauge numbers, and I know that we could have done Wembley for Charles Martin.
What, Foxgrove's numbers?
Yeah.
Really?
Listen, when we went on sale, we had something like 15,000 people in the weight room prior to it going on sale. So if those 15,000 people are average ticket buying 3 tickets, that's already 45,000. As it happens, there's 16,000 tickets available at the O2, 17,000. So they could get 1 each average. So I know what we can do. And you've got to think, AJ's just become, even if you want to downplay it, twice as big as he was. So, I don't know. We'd certainly need a much bigger card for Wembley. Maybe we'd add Brooke. I don't know. But I think O2 for the next one, without a strong card, is probably the more sensible option. O2's his home. I love the O2. I think it's the best arena in boxing.
I agree.
And I think the atmosphere is great. And even today, like, the phone hasn't stopped. Can we reserve tickets for AJ's next fight? I mean, we don't even know when it is. But it's great. It's great for boxing because so long we've craved for a draw like this and attention like this.
So, opponent-wise, are we looking at someone like a Stavern?
Yeah.
Person?
Yeah.
Jennings?
I think it's likely to be an American because I think our new partner in America will want that. Stavern, Jennings, Malik Scott was someone we considered last time. Molina is coming off a good win. Johan de Hoefas
Coming off a great win.
That's a good fight, but the problem is, like, that's probably the toughest out of all of those fights. But again, many will go, who's Johan de Hoefas? Well, he's just cleaned out Robert Helenius, and he had a good fight with Wilder. But Jennings is coming off losses, so again, and a lot of those guys you mentioned aren't ranked. Now what happens is the new rankings will be out. Every heavyweight will be clambering to try and get in the IBF rankings. So
do you rule out any domestic opponent? Chisora.
No, Chisora's fighting Pulev, isn't he, in May, so it's unlikely, you know.
Yeah.
But if he pulled out that fight, I'd probably take the Chisora fight. I think it's an interesting fight for the British public. Hughie Fury, he's not ranked, but they ain't going to fight AJ. Who else? David Price needs a couple of good wins. So, no, I think it's more likely going to be an American.
Dylan White rematch.
I think the Dillian White rematch will happen. I mean, I was talking to Josh about it last night. He was saying how he loved that fight.
Yeah.
And he said, we could do that again, couldn't we? I went, yeah, 100%. Like, people would like to see it, wouldn't they? Yeah. So I think, you know, Dillian can come back with a decent win, get ranked. I think the Dillian White fight could well happen again.
Undercard on Saturday. I'll be honest.
Yeah, if you want.
On paper, I was like, this is a really, really good undercard. I'm not knocking any of the fights. I just think it lacks something in the undercard.
Maybe.
Do you agree?
Maybe. I think there was a lot of solid fights.
Yeah.
But I don't think there was one. I mean, I thought Macklin Rose, although both men, by their own admission, didn't put in the greatest performance, it was a good fight. Yeah. It was a fascinating fight. It was a very close fight. I enjoyed Selby Hunter. I mean, he got decked in the second round, came back. I wish Hunter didn't moan as much, because I think it could have been a great fight if he didn't, and he just actually applied himself to the fight. McDonnell, I thought, boxed outstandingly. Groves Brophy was okay. I thought Brophy was a little bit disappointing, but George is looking sharp. Conor Benn was good fun. I thought Ohara Davis was fantastic. So I know what you're saying. I mean, I think it was great action, but there wasn't one particular fight where you'd say, oh, what a fight that was. That was unbelievable. But I think I haven't had, like, normally if I'm going to get criticised, I see it.
You see it?
No, I haven't. I've a few. I mean, I don't think. Yeah, I think your analysis is right. I think maybe it was missing something, which was maybe an absolute barn burner.
Hello, Barry.
All right, Bazza.
Afternoon, guys.
Don't worry, I've only got about an hour left.
Nothing wrong with that. 10 million views can't be
I know,
wrong.
I know.
100 million hits can't be wrong.
Yeah.
You mentioned that.
Yeah, I will retweet.
Is that your best phone?
Yeah. I think maybe rather than putting on so many fights, we should focus the budget on 2 or 3 really big fights. Do you know what I mean? Like Groves Murray is an expensive fight, but it's a really strong fight.
Yeah.
And I think rather than, you know, maybe I'm sharing this thoughts with the viewers, so maybe instead of saying 3 world title fights, you know, we're in for 6 with championship boxing, and like Macklin Rose was on at 20-7. Do you know what I mean? Maybe that would have been better at 9 o'clock. I don't know,
But I mean, the build up to your last 2 cards involving Joshua, it was kind of like, yeah, Joshua White, everyone was looking forward to due to whatever. Then the good little subplot of Eubank and Spike O'Sullivan, which was great. It was like 2 fights that, and then you had like Luke Campbell, etc. This one here, like I said, it seems like Joshua took, obviously fighting for a world title, it's a different situation. Your Royal Britannia card had some really, really good fights in it. Didn't get probably the hype around it as much as...
I think as well, and again I don't want to bore too many people, but we didn't have as much budget for this undercard. Being straight up, we paid Charles Martin a lot of money to come over, so we didn't have the opportunity to, you know, spend the same kind of budget when obviously the Dillian White fight was a different model. But I think for June or July, maybe the focus is on 2 or 3 big fights rather than trying to do 5 or 6, you know, and a real strong card in depth. But we do have a problem where we have so many fighters that we need to get out as well. But you know, I'll take criticism sometimes.
It's not criticism.
No. But all right, feedback just as well as I do praise sometimes. So I think it's important. I think it was a good card, but you are right. There was no fight that was you turn around and go, "What a fight that was! That was incredible." But I thought it was good action.
There's no Keelan Dolan on there.
Can't rate that one.
Just going back on some of the things, what did you think of Groves?
I thought it boxed well. I watched it from AJ's changing room because I wanted to be in there with AJ before the fight. So I thought he looked sharp. I think he's ready for a big fight now. You know, something that he can get his teeth into.
You're likely to be Martin Murray?
Yeah.
And Lee Selby, like you said.
Yeah, I thought he showed something different, didn't he? He showed a little bit of grit and heart. Selby's a quality fighter. Hunter's good, technically good, but I just think Hunter, you know, when he had a chance, he just started moaning and like all week he was weird.
Yeah.
Don't do yourself any favours. Forget out the ring and what people think of you, but in the ring, come on man, this is your shot at the world title. Don't moan and sulk, you've got to put it all on the line. Grab it, he's never going to get another shot.
Selby, what's the next step for Selby then?
I think you got Warrington, a little bit of talk about Frampton. You got potential fights in America, Gary Russell, Lomachenko, you know, all these fights. I still like the Warrington fight, but we've got to get past Amagassa on Saturday, which is a really tough fight. So he wants to box as soon as possible. You know, he's only boxed twice in a year since he won a world title. Actually, it will end up being 14, 15 months. So he really wants to get out ASAP.
And Jamie McDonnell, I mean,
I thought it was sensational. I mean, the Vargas was, I know he came in at late notice, but he's a decent fighter. I just thought the difference now with Jamie is the way he goes through the gears. Because in the past, I think he just would have boxed off the back foot and gone on points. But actually what you're seeing now is he can go through the gears and step up and stop him. And I feel like he's the best bantamweight in the world. I do. But obviously, what's next is probably Payano. If not, maybe Haskins, or maybe even move to Super Bantam and fight quick. But I think Dave Colwell's done a brilliant job with Jamie McDonnell. I think he's making the weight well now as well.
What do you think is more likely to do? Do you think the Payano obviously fight? I mean, he keeps
Depends
mentioning
on the money.
Haskins.
Yeah, I mean, look, Jamie McDonnell has probably got half a dozen fights left and wants to make as much money as possible. So whatever makes the most money, he will probably take. And that might be Scott Quinn.
Okay. Conor Ben?
I thought it was good. I mean, look at pressure. You know, you've got 18,000 people walking out. It's a little bit crazy, wasn't he, at times? You know, reckless. Yeah. But he's 19. And we've got to box him in loads of fights like that, just let him learn. But what he would have gained, you imagine the experience that he's gained through that on Saturday nights. Yeah. It's great, and it was great seeing him and Nigel together. I watched a lot of your stuff backstage and how you even get in these places. You know, I could stop it like that, don't you? Like, how did you just go like front row interviewing like Redknapp and Whitehall and who else did you get? Jose?
Your dad? No, I went up to Jose, he shook his hand, he looked like he wanted to kill me. Just like blank face, but I didn't speak to him.
The first time I met Jose Marino, I thought he was a lovely bloke. I mean, he turned up at 6:30, he didn't even have a ticket, just text someone. And then he's like texting people after, can I go and meet him? About AJ.
Missed that bit of footage.
Right.
Yeah, good thing about Conor Ben, he seems very appreciative of his situation.
Do you know, my friend said to me, who only really goes to AJ fights, so he is, as some people's views online, casual. He said, I loved Conor Ben. He said, you know what I liked about him? He went, he's so likeable.
Yeah.
Like, it was just his face, wasn't it? Yeah. And how he just couldn't believe it. Yeah. And obviously in the ring dance with Nigel at the end, he's a really likeable guy, yeah. Conor Ben. I think the public will really grow to him. And he's going to be very exciting fights, just like his dad. What
about the first fight of the night?
Ohara?
No.
The Polish kid?
Yeah. Well, how do you assess his performance?
He's an undefeated Hayden fighter.
Can you pronounce his name?
Lemzik.
No, obviously that was just a deal with Al Hayden part of the Charles Martin thing to...
Yeah, that was on at like 5 o'clock, wasn't it? And then Cheeseman boxed well. Yeah. Ohara is very good. Very good.
How can you step him up now?
He'll fight anyone. But it's just like, he's not someone you'd look at and go, yeah, I'd like to fight Ohara Davis. Yeah. So it's difficult, and fair play to Andy Keats. He was really tough in that fight. But he's ready to fight anyone. You know, he wants Cardle, Dodds, Campbell, these kind of guys. And he's crazy. He'll fight anyone, and he's dangerous. He's a dangerous man.
People are still crying out for Cardle Dodd-Free.
I'd like that fight.
Any feedback from Canada?
No, I haven't really spoke to Cardle yet. I mean, he got banged up in the fight. I think he had 15 or 16 stitches, so he's going to be out for a while. I'm looking to box Masha for another title on the Bellew card. Right. And then, you know, I feel like if it was me, I'd want to fight Dodd again, purely because most people felt he won the fight, you know? So if you don't fight Dodd...
Have you watched it back?
No.
God, that was...
No, I watched the fight. I don't know. I had Cardle nicking the fight, and I know like very few people did. But I feel like that fight should happen.
Any indication on pay-per-view numbers for?
Yeah, it was solid. Obviously, it was stronger than the Dillian White fight. We have 60 days to a statement, but it was good. I mean, people said to me, you know, how many pay-per-view buys do you think it does? I mean, we were spoiled by the Dillian White numbers, but obviously I thought this would do more, and it did. You know, I didn't know whether it would do 6, 7, 8, 9, a million. But, you know, it was in the lower levels of those numbers, but still very impressive.
In the post-fight press conference, obviously Joshua was asked some questions about Tyson Fury and his tweets and stuff we're used to from Tyson Fury now. When the question was asked you, and I didn't necessarily agree with this, you said about the role models, about Joshua, you know, people looking up to Joshua, sort of indicating that Tyson Fury isn't a role model for younger people, children. And
I don't think he is.
Why?
Do you think Tyson Fury is a role model? Okay. I like Tyson.
If you're talking about some of the things that he'll write on social media.
Well, but that's
I mean,
you can't ignore those. He's got 500,000 followers. This goes around everywhere. I'm not saying he ain't. Listen, he's got a lot of. I like his values a lot of the times, right? I think he's a nice bloke. I think he's funny, but is he a wrong? What I'm saying is,
what? So you're just talking about personality.
You can't tweet things like "I love slaughtering little bitches with big muscles" or "Klitschko, you little bitch, blowing off AJ, you little wet pussy. I'm knocking your head off in July." Like, I'm telling you, real. That's not a role model. Like,
Yeah, but
you can't be a public figure and say those kind of things and expect to be a role model. I just lost the plot here, or are you just deluded?
no, I'm not being deluded. But that's just. I'm just saying. You're just basing it off like Tyson Fury's Twitter rants. But what about the fact that he's like heavyweight world champion? Does a lot of stuff for charity. Does a lot of stuff in his community. What about all them things?
I guess everything is.
No, look,
they're great things.
You
He does.
can't just
He
go
does.
from
No,
that.
I'm not just going off. He does some great things, and I actually like the geezer, but I just don't think he's a role model. I'm just telling you that if I had a son, right, and he said to me, "Dad, I want to be like Tyson Fury," I'd probably raise my eyebrows. And if my son come and said, "I want to be like Anthony Joshua," I'd be quite happy with that. Maybe it's because I know Anthony Joshua so well. But listen, AJ's had his problems in the past, but he's turned his life around. But I don't see how you can say that Tyson Fury is a role model.
Don't know.
Yeah, but you.
No, it ain't just about that.
No, but
I'm just being that. I'm just saying Tyson Fury is just Tyson Fury, isn't he?
You know what?
Should we water down Tyson Fury?
No. You never ask people or want people to not be themselves.
Right.
And I'm not asking Tyson Fury to change. I'm just telling you, you have one role model in Anthony Joshua and one geezer that's... Listen, he's been himself. AJ's been himself. It doesn't matter that he's not a role model. I haven't come out and said it's disgusting what he's saying. I can't believe his beliefs and this and that. I'm just saying, I just don't think he's a role model, and I think AJ is.
That's fair enough.
Tyson probably couldn't give a monkey's about being a role model. I think he's actually said before, he's not interested in being a role model.
I think there are probably a lot of kids in that actually do look up to him and do listen. He's heavyweight world champion, for God's sake. So there are probably people out there. I know there is people out there that look at him. So, but your comments were more focused around Joshua being a role model.
Yeah, I'm not having a go at Tyson Fury not being a role model. I'm just saying, Anthony Joshua is a pure role model. He's a game changer, right? And listen, probably because we have the beauty and power of Sky as well, but he is going to transcend the sport. He's already one of the biggest stars in Britain right now. You know, he'll go on, he'll probably win Sports Personality of the Year, right? When was the last time that a British boxer won Sports Personality of the Year? Joe Kazagi? Did he win it? I don't know. But you're talking different levels. But you know,
Each to their own.
yeah, 100%. It's only my views, isn't it? Many will probably disagree as they always do, but I think, as usual, that I'm right.
I'm not disagreeing with you about Joshua being a role model because, like I said, conducts himself very well, very PC, what people like to see.
Yeah, but
Carries himself well in and out of the ring.
there you go.
All right, great. Like, again, but I don't,
I'm not saying you can't look up to Tyson Fury. I'm just saying that I don't think he's a role model. And I think what he's achieved is phenomenal. But I don't think he behaves in a way that I would, for how I would represent and perceive a role model to behave.
All right, we can leave it there. Right, date-wise now for you.
This Saturday, big card in Leeds. Josh Warrington against Amagasa. That's going to be an absolute war. Stuart Hall in a real tough. He's the underdog against Rodrigo Guerrero. That's a final eliminator to fight Lee Haskins. Dave Ryan will now fight for the Commonwealth title against a geezer who I'm going to have to tell you about in a minute. Martin Ward on the card. Then we switch over to America. Stephen Smith's fighting Jose Pedraza for the IBF world title. Then we're off 3 weeks till Crolla on May the 7th. Then we are, he's defending his world title against Barroso. May the 28th, Ricky Burns trying to become a freeweight world champion. I think there's only one other Brit that's Bazza. You'll blag it. Well, very good.
Drew McKenzie.
Yeah, he's the only other freeweight world champ.
And it's never been done by Scottish.
No, I know that. Hall of Fame promoter, isn't it?
And that is for the super title, the Ricky Burns.
Super title, super duper title. And then June the 4th, most likely Bellew. And then June, could be June the 25th for Joshua, could be July the 9th. And then we'll probably be done. End of July, we're looking at Brooke.
Okay. June 25th sounds great.
Good, thanks for that.
If you agree, tweet Eddie Hearn, at Eddie Hearn. Hashtag June 25th. Don't go the 9th. What does Barry think about going the 9th?
Where?
What do you think about going the 9th the same time as...
I love the idea of competition in anything in life, but it does seem a bit silly.
You're not on the camera, by the way.
If you didn't hear what Barry said, he said he thinks it's a bit silly. Right.
But what do I don't make any decisions?
Yeah. I'll do what I normally do. Take the feedback,
and
ignore it, and then do what I want to do.
Listen, you learn at the feet of a master with that approach.
Alright, unless you've got anything else to add.
No, all good, mate. See you at the workout tomorrow, Leeds.
Little Sonny Donnelly out there. I'm actually going to see Frank Warren tomorrow.
Oh dear.
Why, oh dear? I'll get a cup of tea over there.
Oh yeah, really, do you not want one?
Right, where's Karen?
I don't know.
Where's Karen? And then press conference Thursday.
Wayne Friday. Get ready for the atmosphere.
Good luck to Stephen Smith.
Yeah, absolutely. Baz will be
When are you going there, Baz?
I'm going Thursday night.
Thursday night.
Time for the weigh on Friday. No need to sleep.
Undefeated on his travels.
Really?
Yeah. Kel Brewer.
No, actually, he was there when Lee Purdy.
Oh, you were there with Purdy, yeah.
Was I? Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
you
you
were.
my time somewhere else.
You forgot that one.
Yeah. Alright, Eddie, thanks for talking to iFall TV, and we will catch up with you later on in the week in Leeds.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you.